Hello, and welcome back to Mindset Matters. My name is Vic. I am a psychology graduate, a teacher, and a certified life coach, and I am here to share my perspective on how mindset is so powerful when it comes to creating the life you want to live. So, welcome to Mindset Matters, the podcast where we choose to live with purpose and grow with intention. So, today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I want to treat it like a journaling session, and we're going to journal together, okay? So I invite you to listen to this when you can actually sit down, pause the video, and journal. So grab a journal, okay? If you don't want to journal right now, you could just listen, but I feel like you should do it with me because we always save things for later and never go back to them. So anyways, before we get into that part, let me explain why I want to do this and what this concept is. So it's fall, okay? It is coming up to the end of summer. September always feels like this pivotal kind of month of change, getting back into a more consistent routine perhaps. And I feel like it's just a good season to be like, okay, I still have 4 months left of the year to make things happen and to achieve the things that I maybe set for myself back in January. So I love September, and I think it's a great time to reset and recenter with yourself. So I wanted to do an episode all about setting intentions. And rather than just talk about it, I really wanted to take you through the process of how I personally set intentions and how this method that I use is honestly so helpful. And I don't know, I just love it. It works really well for me. I've done a couple coaching, free coaching calls in a group setting, and one of the themes was to set intentions for a particular month, and it went really well and I got great feedback, so I kind of just wanted to share it. So let's dive in. Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about what an intention is. Okay, so the definition, or a definition of intention, is a thing intended, an aim or plan. And what I love about this word, if you know me, this is my favorite word. To set intention, to live intentionally. To me, it means to live with purpose, to show up intentionally means to show up with purpose. It means to show up in a way that aligns with the person you want to be, and ultimately it's helping you create the life that you want to live. Okay, so when I think about writing intentions, it's really about just reflecting and, first of all, figuring out what it is that you want to achieve, or what you're striving for, or what you want out of a certain season. I think it's great to look big picture, but sometimes we need to look smaller picture and set intentions for a specific week or month, or even for the day. So that is what intention means to me, and how it's really impacted my life, is just helping me be crystal clear on what I want and helping me actually put that into an action plan. I think it's so common for people. Coffee break. Look at this coffee, by the way. It's a little whipped. So good. So, what was I saying? I think it's so common for people to either not know what they want or have trouble defining what they want, or when they know what they want, they're like, okay, well, how do I actually put this into practice? Okay, so this episode is intended to help you set clear intentions, figure out what you really want to foster going into this fall season. So I'm really excited. I hope you stick with me. I hope you get your journal. I hope you take the time to really do the exercise, and I hope it really helps you. The first thing I want to mention is when I use intention. So I did mention that I use it monthly or quarterly, weekly. So I think you can really adapt this to do it as often as you need to. I like to do a big quarterly intention setting because it gives me a bit bigger picture. 3 months is not too far away that it's seems unfathomable. However, it's not too close that it's overwhelming. So I like to start with maybe like a 3-month mark. And the way I set intentions over like a 3-month is really just more of a reflection and like a journal. And then monthly, I like to do this process more like with action steps. So this is kind of the thing we're going through today is really focused on the month. But again, this can be adaptable. And I do set intentions of the week that are based on my monthly goals, if that makes sense. So we start broad, we brainstorm what do we want in 3 months, what would our ideal situation look like, and then we kind of bring it closer. Okay, so that's kind of big picture. And let's get into it. So I hope you have your journal, your favorite pen, and you're ready to do this with me. So first of all, step 1 is to reflect. So either how was your summer, if you're watching this right away, or whenever you stumble upon this episode, think about the last month, okay? And I want you to write down how it was. Thought dump. What went really well this past month? And why do you feel that way? So what went really well? Why do you feel that way? Literally pause this and write, please. I'm going to sip my coffee and wait for you. I'm imagining like a montage of like fast motion of me just waiting while you write. But for the purpose of time, I'm not going to actually like sit here the whole time, but pretend, okay? Literally pause it and brainstorm and do the journal. I really believe that this will help you. Okay, so now that we've thought about what went well, what didn't go well this past month, what maybe did you drop the ball? Did you have a goal that you kind of let go? Did you just like, not follow through with certain things? And also, no judgment, by the way. This is not a space where I'm judging you. And I don't want you to be judging yourself or being like, woe is me, I failed. But it's good to reflect what didn't go well and why do you feel that way? Okay, now that you've paused and come back, I know you did it. I'm trusting you here. Okay, so we've thought about what went well, what went not so well. Now we're going to think about the 7 or 8 dimensions of wellness. Okay, I love looking at my life in terms of these dimensions of wellness, and they are the following: emotional wellness, physical wellness, occupational wellness, social wellness, spiritual wellness, intellectual wellness, environmental wellness, and financial wellness is like the 8th one that I do like to include. I would say traditionally I've looked at these as 7, but I do think the financial aspect is nice. So, our 8 dimensions of wellness for the purpose of this. And you can also pause and go look these up and like read the descriptions of all of them. I'm not going to tell you them right now. Maybe I should. I'm going to break down all of the dimensions of wellness that are going to help you set your intentions moving forward. The first one is physical. So physical wellness has to do with healthy behaviors such as exercise, eating a balanced diet, getting regular medical checkups, getting enough sleep, anything that has to do with your body and your physical well-being. Number 2 is emotional well-being. So this is how you think, how you feel, how you behave in daily life, tuning into your emotions, feeling overall optimistic about life, and giving yourself self-love. Number 3 is occupational wellness. This has to do with your satisfaction and feeling of purpose related to your work experience. Are you using your gifts and what you enjoy to gain purpose and enrichment out of life? Number 4 is your intellectual wellness. This has to do with doing things that are creative or stimulating mental activities, learning, improving your skills. This could be anything that you want to learn. I think it's so important to always be open to learning new things. Reading is a great one to stimulate intellectual wellness. Number 5 is your spiritual wellness, and this includes your guiding beliefs or values that help give you direction in life. It's also your willingness to seek meaning and purpose in life as well. Number 6 is your social wellness. So this is your ability to interact in a community, cultivate healthy relationships, contribute to your community in some way, communicate your thoughts and feelings with the people in your life. And number 7 is your environmental wellness. So how does your environment affect your overall wellness? Do you feel like you're in a positive environment? Can you incorporate nature on a daily or weekly basis? Do you have a sense of peace with where you are? Think about these 7 or 8 dimensions of wellness, and which ones do you think you prioritized the best in the past month or so? So, for example, I would say my summer was very social oriented. I moved to a new place recently, so I really wanted to push myself to get out and meet new people. I did a lot with friends. My friends came to visit. So social wellness for me, my cup is full. I did a lot with a lot of people. I met some great people. That was a really awesome one for me. Otherwise, I would say physical wellness. I really prioritized getting outside, working on building strength in my leg since I had knee surgery kind of recently. So I would say those are my top 2. Physical wellness and social wellness are my top 2. So think about which dimensions of wellness you feel like you really fostered well the past month. Okay, and let's look at the other way. Which ones maybe we're lacking? So again, there's emotional, physical, occupational, social, spiritual, intellectual, environmental, financial. I'm going to be honest, my financial wellness, I think financial wellness for me, I wasn't paying that much attention to where my money was going this summer. So that is something I want to be a bit more intentional with moving forward. So I don't think I spent a crazy amount of money. However, I just wasn't really paying attention to where my money was going. And normally that's something that I do value and do like to do. So think of yours. What are your top 2? What are your lowest 2? And there we go. So by this point, you've reflected, okay, you've thought about what went well, what didn't go well, what dimensions of wellness really were fostered, and what ones you realize, I don't really prioritize that, or that hasn't been a priority for me right now. Maybe it's something you don't feel needs to be a priority. Maybe it's just something that got pushed to the side. You can obviously decide that for yourself. But let's go into step 2. And this is where we look ahead. Okay, so we think about, we're going to choose one for this exercise, but I would suggest picking 2, maximum 3 dimensions of wellness that you really want to foster in this next month or so. I find if you try to do everything, you may overwhelm yourself. Trying to say, okay, I'm going to set goals for all 8 dimensions of wellness, especially if you're going like 0 to 8, is probably going to be challenging. So I personally, even to this day, I like to prioritize 2 to 3 that I'm like actively working on. I do think everything is about balance, and I don't want anyone to like slip too low under my radar, but I'm not actively pursuing a goal around all 8 dimensions of wellness at once. Okay, I hope you're still with me. So I want you to write down 2 to 3 dimensions of wellness that you really want to foster this season. So for example, for me, I'm going to say physical wellness, financial wellness, and occupational wellness. Now pick one that you're going to do for this exercise, and then at the end of this, you're going to go back and do the other 2. But pick one dimension of wellness. Which one is popping out at you? Which one is your heart screaming, yes, this is what we want to prioritize? Okay, pick that one and write it down in your journal. Write it down. I want you to tap into why. Why is your heart screaming that at you? Why is your heart saying, yes, this is the one? This is the biggest dimension of wellness we're going to foster this next month. And write it down. Why is it really important to you? I really hope you're doing this and not just pretending, by the way. So this is your accountability check-in. Okay, we're halfway through. I want you to pause. And if you still don't have your journal, what the frick are you doing? What the frick, man? Woman? So now that we know our dimension of wellness and we've tapped into why it's really important for us, why we want to foster this, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to picture your life 3 months from now. So let's give ourselves kind of a wider range. We have a little more time to make this happen. Close your eyes. Imagine this, okay? You have been working on this dimension of wellness. You've been prioritizing it. You've been fostering it. And ultimately, you have achieved whatever you've set out to achieve, okay? So I want you to imagine what that looks like. 3 months from now, you've prioritized this thing. You've brought in so much amazing energy around this aspect of your life, this aspect of your well-being, and you're feeling great. So what does the ideal situation look like in 3 months in terms of this dimension of wellness? And I want you to write it down. So whatever you just wrote down, I want this to serve as kind of your big goal. Okay, so this imagined state, 3 months from now, everything is going really well. You really fostered this dimension of wellness and you're excited about it. You feel accomplished. Whatever you wrote down that ideal situation looks like. Okay, so maybe if it's physical wellness, maybe it's that you can do a pull-up. Maybe that's something you really want. Maybe for me and my knee, it's that my left leg is the same size in muscle as my right leg. And I finally caught it up. Okay, that would be my ideal situation. Okay, so that's like my big goal. That's serving as your big goal, whatever that imagined thing that you just pictured and wrote down was, okay? So this leads us to step 3 in our journaling exercise. And this is the actionable steps, okay? So we want to break down this big goal into actionable steps. And we want to think about our steps, not just in terms of action, but we want to think about our thoughts, okay? We want to think about our language, and we want to think about our action steps. Why these 3? If you've been to my channel before, you've likely heard me talk about how our thoughts, words, and actions are so important. And in everything we do, right? Whatever goal we have that we're working towards, if you're thinking super negatively about it, like, I'll never get my knee back to normal. I'll never feel like I'm strong again. If I'm telling myself that and I'm thinking that constantly, it's going to be harder for me to actually build that muscle, or it's going to be harder for me to stay motivated to go to the gym. So thinking about the thoughts that you think, let's start there. What are a few positive thoughts that you can think about your goal that's going to help you reach it? So maybe this is like a little affirmation, or just overall, how do you want to think about it? So how can you think about it that's going to make it more achievable? It could be something as simple as, I am capable of achieving this goal. And this goal is important to me. I show up for myself. Okay, so these are affirmations, essentially. And I know people have mixed feelings about affirmations. I think if you do them in the right way, which we're going to get into, they can be super beneficial. Okay, so you've thought about some thoughts you're going to think and the way you're going to speak to yourself positively. Now I want you to think about the actions, okay? What actions are necessary for you to do in order to achieve this goal? So for me, if my goal is to build strength in my left leg, well, I know that I need to go to the gym. I know that I need to prioritize single leg exercises. I know that I likely need to build in some cardio. Biking is really good. So I can think about all the actions I can take. I know that I need to eat more protein so that I'm actively building muscle. Okay, so these are some examples for you. Write down all the things that you need to do in order to achieve that goal. And from there, we kind of have our bigger picture. Okay, so you know what actions you have to take. You know kind of the thoughts you have to think and how you're going to speak to yourself in order to make this more of a reality for you. And the last part I want to do with you here is I want you to close your eyes and imagine yourself at the end of this month. Okay, so I know originally we imagined at the end of 3 months, but just think of yourself at the end of this month. You were very successful in your action steps. You implemented your action steps. You showed up positively. You cut out the negative self-talk. Even if you missed a day at the gym, or you had a few days where you were sick and you weren't able to prioritize your intention, you got back on the horse and you kept going. And ultimately, you feel like you're on really good track to getting to that ultimate 3-month goal. Now, I really want you to sink in. How does this feel? You are on track. You're doing great. You've successfully made it about 1/3 of the way of your progress. You've been resilient. You've pushed through. Genuinely, how does it feel to know that you achieved this thing? How does it feel to know that you showed up for yourself? And I want you to write that down. And now we're going to come back, and I just want to wrap this up. And I want you to remember how this feels. And every time you're not sure about your goal, or every time you feel like you've fallen off track, I want you to think about how it will feel to achieve your goal, to really foster and prioritize this dimension of wellness. And I want you to think, how can I show up today that will embody these feelings? How can I show up today in a way that tomorrow me will be proud of? Can I get 1% better? Can I get 1% closer to that goal? Okay. So I hope this exercise was helpful. I hope you really get out your journal and really do this and pause the video throughout. I know that this is a different style of content or podcast, but I enjoyed doing it with you, and I hope this was helpful. As always, I encourage you to check out my website, mindsetmatterswithvic.com, if you are looking for more guidance on how to show up in your life more positively, how to wake up Monday morning feeling excited about the week, how to catch up with your friends and feel excited about life and sharing what you're up to. And if you feel like you're stuck or you're in some sort of a rut and you're just not sure what you want, or you're still having trouble figuring out, okay, how am I going to bring this to life? Then check out my website, go check out my work. I have free journal prompts. I also have a passion assessment, which is a one-off one-to-one call where me and you will dive deep into what really lights you up, what is currently not working, and we will create an action plan together. Coaching is so beautiful, and one-to-one coaching time is amazing. So if you liked this exercise and you're wanting a little bit more, go check out my website, and I would love to work with you. So I hope you have a beautiful week, and I will chat with you very soon. Happy journaling. Happy new season. Bye.